1 second. Okay. So today we are going to have a look at listening part A. Here we go. Right. So before we move on with the session, Sangeeta, can you unmute yourself and tell me a bit about listening part A? What you remember? Unmute yourself, Sangeeta.
Yes, listening part A, indeed, total 24 questions.
Okay, very good. 24 questions. What else?
And first 12 questions on one consultations.
Then?
And other 12 questions on consultations. Total
Okay.
2 audio, yeah.
Yes. So, Sangeeta, whatever you have told, you just told now are correct. We have in total 24 questions. So that means,
Yes.
and you will be listening to 2 different consultations. Okay, two different, completely different consultations. Okay, 1 second. So, listening to these consultations, you will answer questions and you will have 12 questions for each audio. The first audio, 12 questions. Second audio, 12 questions. Okay, all right.
Yes.
Okay, Shiny, can you tell me what do you understand by the word consultation?
Consultation means when patient come to consult doctor, there will be one conversation between the doctor and patient.
Exactly. So here for listening part A, you have 2 different consultations. So imagine, as Shiny told, the first consultation is between an osteopath and the patient. The second one will be between a psychiatrist and the patient. So 2 completely different consultation. That will be your audio. And before the audio starts, you get 30 seconds. 30 seconds to go through your questions. And your questions are gap fill. That means you will be completing notes. So there will be gap. You will be completing notes. So before the first audio plays, they give you 30 seconds time to go through your first 12 questions. You will go through the first 12 questions and after 30 seconds, they will play the audio, first audio. As you listen, you will write down your answers. Okay? Then, after the first audio is finished, again, you will get 30 seconds to go through the next set of 12 questions. After 30 seconds, they will play the second audio, which is again a consultation. Then as you listen, you will write down the answers. Okay, so that's what the questions are all about. Okay, so tell me one thing, Rohini. There are 2 consultations, right? The first one and the second one. So how many people will you be listening to when it comes to listening part A? 2 consultations are there. So in total, how many different people will be talking? And in total, how many people will you be listening to? Unmute yourself and tell me, Rohini. Yes? Yeah. You're on mute. Rohini, you're on mute. Make sure to unmute yourself. Yeah. Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. So how many people will you be listening to? 2 consultations means how many people?
1 person.
Are you sure?
First A part, 1 consultation and 1 patient.
So how many people in a consultation? Only the patient will be talking? Who will be asking the questions, Rohini?
No, doctor and patient.
Exactly.
Doctor and patient.
So 1 audio, 2 people talking. That means in total you will be listening to 4 speakers.
Yes.
4 different speakers. So remember, 4 speakers and 2 different accents. So if the first one is Australian accent, second can be UK accent. Or both can be Australian accent. So be very careful. You will be listening to 4 speakers for sure. And you will be listening to at least 2 different accents. 2 different accents. So today, I think we will be listening to 1 Australian and 1 UK accent. Let's see, when you come to the practice, you will get to know. Okay. So this has been a quick overview of listening part A. Number of questions, 2 consultations, 12 questions for each audio, 30 seconds to go through the question. Your questions are gap fills, and you will be listening to 4 different speakers. Among these 4 different speakers, you will be listening to at least 2 different accents. 2 different accents. At least 2 accents. 1 second. Yeah. And what we will be doing, so now today when we listen, when we go through our practice, we will be trying to understand how you can utilize this 30 seconds. 30 seconds are there for your preparation. So how are we going to utilize it? What should we do? Okay, so all of you, Sankita, Rohini, Seema, Shiny, go through the screen. Ask me if you have any questions about your listening before we move on to practice. Right. Okay. All right. So shall we move on? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
All right.
ma'am.
So before that, so what do we do when you get your, so let me tell you something. Before your test exam starts, before they get into listening, they will give you an introduction about the structure of the text. So there you will listen to the audio when they will say things like, this is your OET listening test. You have 3 parts. The first part has 2 audios. And you will get 30 seconds to go through the question. Then they will come to, so they will give this, it's kind of an announcement about the test, So I would say, start going through your part A questions from during this announcement as well, because the announcement remains the same. The intro that they give to the test remains the same. So you don't have to pay a lot of attention there. You can start reading your first 12 questions as soon as they start talking about the test. Okay, so they will give an introduction. Today you will listen to that. They will say this is OET listening test. You have 3 parts. The first part consists of 2 different extracts. And before we play the audio, you get 30 seconds to go through the questions. Then they will say, coming to the extract 1, you will hear this person talking to this person. Now you have 30 seconds. So you get at least extra 10 to 12 seconds, or at least extra of 30 seconds when they give the introduction to the test. So you can even utilize that time to read your questions. Okay. So coming to your preparation time. Usually it's the standard time is 30 seconds, but I'm telling you, you can utilize the time where they announce the introduction to the test to go through your questions. So during this 30 seconds, what we do is we do something called prediction. Prediction is nothing but based on the headings, subheadings, the words before the gap and after the gap, we are trying to predict what will be our answer. And we are trying to familiarize ourselves with the audio. Before even we listen to the audio, we are trying to familiarize ourselves with the content and try to predict the answers. Okay? All right. So shall we move on? Let's look at today's, this one. 1 second. Yeah. So this is today's extract. 1 second. Okay. Right. So today we will be doing at least 2. We'll try to do at least 2 consultations. So, Shiny. 1 second, yes, Shiny. I would like you to read this. 1 second. Let me highlight it. So this is okay. Can you read this part which I've highlighted? Can you see?
Here, a neurologist talking to a patient called Harry Davis, who suffers from gout and is attending for a medication review. For questions 1 to 12, complete notes with a word or short phrase that you hear.
Exactly. So now whatever audio we are about to listen to, it's between a rheumatologist and a patient. The patient has gout and he has come for a review. Okay. So now let's have a look at how are we going to know more about the audio. So what I would like you guys to do is read the bold headings. Read the bold headings. Just the bold headings. So we only have 3 bold headings today. So just go through those headings. Okay. So Rohini, can you read the first heading for me?
Yeah. Patient.
Patient.
Name is Harry Davis.
So no, only heading, nothing else. So patient. So that means only the name. What about the second heading?
Yes. medical history.
So tell me, Rohini, what are the things that you listen during a consultation when you ask when we think about medical history? What type of information do we usually get in medical history? A patient, yes,
Past history, present history, and medication what he is taking,
yes,
and what
yes,
kind of pain he is going through,
yes.
and
So
like signs and symptoms of it.
exactly. So when
Yeah.
you're reading medical history means, as Rohini just told us, medical history. Oops, sorry. Yeah. Medical history talks about always you usually talks there will be information on signs, symptoms, past conditions, current problems, then current medications. Right? So these are the topics that gets usually covered when it comes to medical history. So nurses, tell me one thing. When it comes to medical history, will the patient will just be giving a lot of information? Only will the patient be talking themselves the whole thing? I have that. I have this. Only during the consultation. Do you think will anybody ask questions? What do you think about that?
Patient will ask the question.
Doctor will ask the question. The doctor needs to know about the consultation. So remember, when it comes to medical history, of course, patient will, without prompting, the patient will talk. However, if the doctor wants or wishes to get some specific information, remember the doctor will ask the questions. Okay, all right. Rohini, can you read the final heading?
Yeah, treatment received. What medication he is received before.
See, so are they talking about the past treatment or the future one?
It's a past received.
Past.
He's saying
Past.
treatment
Okay.
received.
Okay. That means whatever treatment the patient has tried in the past. Okay. All right. So today we have our first consultation is between a rheumatologist and a patient named Harry Davis. And here the topic of conversation starts with the patient's name. Then they move on to medical history. It ends with treatment received in the past. Okay, so we know the structure of our content now. So, Shiny, can you read the first gap? Yeah.
It's not clear.
It's not clear. How about now?
Now also I can't read.
Okay, one second. Okay, is it too large or is it is the writing too small? Print too.
Yes, it's very small and it's not clear. Words are not clear.
Well, how about now?
Zoom it.
Now it's okay, ma'am.
Okay, so can you read the first gap? First gap starts from here. So under medical history, the first gap. Yes, Shiny.
Had his first serious attack while on holiday. Pain in his dash accompanied by swelling.
So, Shiny, pain in his dash accompanied by swelling. So, what do you think will the word in the gap? Will be the word in the gap? Yeah.
Some body part.
Exactly. In his location, right? So, we will get answer, where is the pain? So, here in this gap, where comes? However, remember, see the transition. He is talking about his holiday. He's talking about his first attack while on holiday. So remember, he might not use the same words given here. He might say my first attack or initial attack. Instead of first, the patient might say initial attack. Or initial, another word for before you say attack, before we say initial attack of a particular disease, is there any other way to say attack? Any other simpler term other than attack? Think about it. We can say asthma attack. Can we use any another word to convey the same? Sangeeta, Rohini, Shiny, Seema?
Previous attack or
initial attack. So here not previous one, very specific, the first one. Instead of attack, any other word. Think about it. Initial episode. Can't we say episode? we do say, right, instead of an attack, we do say first episode of something, first attack of something. Got it?
Yes.
Okay. So don't expect them to use the same words given before the gap. They might use different words. And in another word for holiday, any other word for holiday?
Vacation.
Vacation. All right, vacation. Okay, they might say vacation. Okay, correct. Now, I want you to look here. We know that in the gap, what the word that we need to write down is the location, then accompanied by spelling. So, I want you guys to pay attention here. So, they are saying about pain in one place, then they are saying accompanied by spelling. So, that means they are saying this and this. Right? So remember, whenever 2 or 3 things are listed, the order that is given in our question might not be the order the patient will say the thing. So the patient might say swelling and pain instead of pain and swelling. Be very careful when something is listed. Order might be different. Order of the list might be different. So that is a common thing that we find in OET listening. In our question paper, the order will be from A to B. However, in the audio, the person might be saying, they might list B, then they might say A. Okay, so be very careful. Okay, and instead of accompanied by, they can also say along with, or just say the plain and. Okay, so Sangeeta, Shiny, Rohini, Seema, just go through what I've just told you about the predicting the the first question.
Okay.
I told that they might use different words. I also told that pain in his, so of course you will be getting a location, body part or an organ, whatever. And I also told you they are listing 2 things. We need to find one word from the list. And they have given the second one here, and I told in the audio, the order might be different. Okay. So, Shiny, are you clear with what I've just told you?
Yes, ma'am.
Rohini, Sangeeta?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So, be very careful. This is this one. Okay. The next one is also tricky. Rohini, can you read the second gap?
Initially thought it was either he might have been saying about the some other disease condition.
Yeah, one second, Rohini. Let's just slow it down. Initially thought. So, what are they talking? Initially thought. That means another way to say initially I thought. Any other way to say that? Initially, of course, at first. Anything else?
Yeah.
Thought.
First time. Yeah.
Believed.
First time he was yeah.
Initially, I believed. That brings me to another word. 1 second. So, Rohini, you predicted it correctly. In the gap, he might be talking about a condition, right? Initially, I thought it was this particular condition. But I want you guys to focus. That is correct. That is correct. In the gap, we might find we are looking for the condition. But look at this word, either. Either. When do we use either? When do we use either?
Two different
exactly. So if you see either one, then in the third one as well, right? Can you read the third question as well, Rohini?
Yeah, possibly related to medication taken for dash
control.
Pain control.
Yeah, 1 second. Possibly related to medication taken. So he is talking about one opinion and another initial opinion, right?
Yes.
So they are listing again using either or. They are mentioning 2 things. Remember, order might change. It might not be given in the same order because the either is here. So they are mentioning 2 things. They are giving us 2 options at once using either or. So remember, order. Exactly like accompany, the order might change. Okay, got it?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, all right. Rohini, did you understand what I was trying to convey?
Yes.
Okay, so you are correct. You predicted that in the second. Rohini, what Rohini predicted is correct. In the second gap, I thought it was either. Initially, I thought, or at first, I thought it was either dash. So we need to list a condition, name of a condition. So Rohini, can you read the third gap as well?
Yeah, possibly related to medication taken for dash control.
So possibly. Are we sure? When we use the term possibly, are we sure about it?
Not sure.
So, and what is the another way to say? This is a very common, most of the listening party has possibly. So, in our question paper, they have given possibly. Shiny, is there any other way to say possibly? Other than possibly, instead of saying possibly. Can. Okay. Sangeeta, any other way to say possibly other than can? Shiny, all of you, any one of you can answer.
Might,
Yeah.
might,
Might, very
probable,
good. Might.
probable,
Probable, correct. Probably. Perhaps, correct. Perhaps. In speaking, spoken language, we often say perhaps. It was related to. Yes. Anything else? One second. Might, probably, likely, or assumed.
Like,
When you assume something, you're not sure. So the patient can say, I assumed. I assumed. Assumed means we are not sure. Assumed it was related to medication taken for. After for, what will be the what will come under in the gap? Shiny.
either before.
Medication taken for?
Therefore, some condition will be there.
Yes, it
To
can be a
control some-
condition or a symptom. Right? Taken for pain control. Taken for pain is not a condition, it's a symptom, right? So it can be pain, taken for pain control, taken for blood sugar control or whatever, some condition or a symptom. Okay, so all of you take a second, just go through what we have discussed so far and ask me if you have any questions. So I have given you certain hints here. Whenever things are listed or whenever choices are given using and or either, remember the order might change. Order that's in our question paper might not be the same when it comes to the audio. So you need to pay close attention. Okay, moving on to the fourth one. Sangeeta, can you read the fourth question for me?
describe the pain as dash.
Describes the pain. So describing. Always remember, whenever someone describes something, they use adjectives. Adjectives. So they can say pain, bad pain, terrible pain, horrible pain. Okay, all these are adjectives. And remember, we have simple, very common adjectives like good, bad, worse, horrible, terrible, intense, or most common adjectives in OET,
Cramping,
ing adjectives and ed adjectives. Tiring pain, tingling sensation. So all these words that ends with ing or ed are the most common adjectives when it comes to pain or anything. Any adjective, anything is described, they have common ones: good, bad, worse, terrible, intense. These are very common, right? They are not. Or you get adjectives that ends in. Adjectives are nothing but the words that describe a subject or a noun. So you can get words like tiring or scalding. Okay, all these words, or throbbing. Okay, these are ing adjectives. Or you can get adjectives that ends in ed. Okay, a very common one is bored. Okay, or interested. All these are ed adjectives. So remember, so here you're looking for an adjective, a word that describes something. Always remember, when something gets described, we use adjectives. So here your word is he's describing the pain. Okay, Sangeeta, fifth one as well.
was unable to dash.
Was unable to dash. So any other way to say unable to instead of unable? What is unable to? Any other way to say that? Was unable. So no, they are not talking about current inability. They are Shiny, cannot is right now. Current inability. We are talking about past. What is the past form of cannot? Couldn't. Correct. Couldn't. Could not, it can be couldn't. Anything else? Was unable, not able to. was not able to. One second. You can
Yes.
also say not able to. Instead of was unable to, they can also say not able to. Okay. Or they can just say inability to. Inability to. Okay. So instead of unable to, they can use all these words. One more thing. Let me give you one more common thing. Remember, if there is a before gap, if you find the preposition to, usually to is followed by an action word. That is a verb in first form, V1 form. V1 verb, singular. V1 singular. That means without yes. To give, to start, to provide, to walk. Okay, so here was unable to an action. Here the word will be an action, and that action will be, actions are called verbs. So it will be in V1 form. V1 form is nothing but a verb without S. They will never say unable to talks. That is wrong. Unable to talk. Okay, unable to walk, not walks. After the preposition to, when there an action word comes, that word is always in V1 singular form. Singular form is nothing but without S. Okay? All right.
Okay,
So,
ma'am.
okay. All right. Which brings me to the sixth one. Selmi, am I audible to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. You are new to the session, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, we have just started listening part A. We are just discussing how to do prediction during the preparation time. Okay, all right. Shalini, can you read the sixth gap fill for me?
Yes, ma'am.
Ah.
Says the clinic initially suspected dash before diagnosing gout.
Says the clinic initially, again at first, suspected. Suspected means, are we sure about it?
No.
No. So the exact words as possibly. Exact words as possibly, can, might, probably. Instead of suspect, they can also say that. Okay? The exact same words. They can say instead of suspect, they can say possible, might. So at first we thought it might be. It can be. It is likely. Perhaps it was. Okay? So suspected. After suspected, what will be the word in the gap?
There will be another condition.
Condition, exactly, condition. Okay, and remember after the gap, what is the word, Shiny? What is given after the gap? Before
Diagnosing gout.
before diagnosis. So let me tell you one thing. If a sentence has a time reference, always remember a time reference can come at the start of a sentence or at the end of a sentence. For instance, let me clarify. In our question, it's given. Patient says the clinic initially suspected something before diagnosing gout. So in the sentence, in the question, the time reference is at the end. But in the audio, they can start with the time reference. The patient can say before they diagnosed gout, it was initially suspected that I had something. So whenever there is a time reference in your sentence, order can change. In the question, it will be at the end. In the audio, it might be at the start of the sentence. Order can change. So take a second, just brainstorming. Just think about what I just told you guys. So instead of suspected, they can again say possibly, can, might, probably, perhaps, likely, assumed. They can use that instead of suspected. Then, whenever in your question or in your gap fill, there is a time reference, remember, time reference can come at the start of a sentence when you speak or at the end. So when you listen, the placement of the time reference when the person speaks, it might be at the start. Okay, you might be looking for the word suspected, but the order might be changed. So pay close attention.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, all right. Okay, last one. Sangeeta, can you read the seventh? Not last one, seventh one.
Report previously feeling similar pain after dash, but less intense, self-resolving.
Okay, so now the patient is reporting previously feeling similar pain after. always remember after you get a noun. Noun can be the name of something, name of something. But if after the preposition after, following the preposition after, if the word is an action word, it will be in ing form. After working, after attending the class, after taking the exam. See? So remember, whenever you have after in the gap, the words that follows after can be a noun, or if it's an action word like drive, provide, give, start, it will be in ing form. After starting, after giving, after providing, most of the time. Okay?
Okay.
All right. So self-resolving. 1 second. Sankita, what is the meaning of the word self-resolving? When I say something is self-resolving, or
Itself,
yes,
within itself.
is it within? Okay, Rohini, can you repeat that? I couldn't hear you. I'm sorry.
Itself.
Yes,
Itself
yes,
or
yes. It resolved on its own without any outside medication or anything. It solved on its own. Okay, so they might not say it was self-resolving. They might say it resolved on its own, or it went away on its own, or subsided on its own. Okay. All right. So take a second, go through that, go through what I've just told you. Okay, so just analyze what we did with under the heading medical history, how we try to analyze our material and try to predict. Just go through everything before we move on to the last heading. Okay, Selmi, can you read the, so next one we are moving on to the next heading, treatment received. So can you read the 8th gap, Selmi?
Dash not effective.
So we are talking about treatments, right? So dash not effective. So what will be the word or phrase indicate in the gap?
Maybe medication.
It can be
otherwise
medication. It can be a therapy, right? Okay. It can be, what else? What else can it be? Medication, therapy. What other 3 treatments are there? What? It can be a remedy, right? Not exactly. It can be a home remedy or something like that. So we need to find out something that is not effective. Selvi, is there any other way to say not effective other than saying not effective? Any other way to say the same thing?
Not helpful.
Okay, helpful or not helpful? Not helpful. Or see, it is a, we are talking about past treatments, right? So they can say didn't help. Okay, okay, or good old was ineffective. We can just say the was ineffective. Okay, so they might not say the same thing. They might say, they might use different words or phrases. So keep your minds off. I'm not asking you to write these things down. I'm asking you to think this way when you go through your material. Okay, Selmi, you can read the 9th one as well.
Colchicine caused dash.
So it's a name of a medication. Colchicine caused dash.
Maybe any allergy.
Yes, so it can be a side effect or a reaction, right? It can be a side effect or a reaction. Side effect or a reaction, right? Oh, oops, sorry. Okay. So it caused. Any other way to say that? Just remember, can I say, okay, I took this particular medication, it caused a side effect or a problem. Any other way to say instead of it caused? Yeah. Instead of this cost, can I say any other? Can I convey this in any other way? Think about it like a sentence. It led to. I can say that, right? It led to. Resulted in, right? Resulted in. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Next one, Rohini. Can you read the 10th one?
dash caused nausea.
Again, what will be in the gap?
Medication might have been
Or
caused
this
nausea.
medication or therapy or a remedy, something. Okay. All right. Caused nausea. Okay.
May have over.
Okay. Nausea. Any other way to say nausea? What is nausea actually? What is nausea?
Reflex.
Feeling of vomiting.
Okay. Feeling of
Vomiting.
vomiting. So they might say, I felt like vomiting, or I felt sick. Feeling sick is also similar to felt sick, can also be. It's not like falling ill. Felt sick means throwing up or, vomiting. Okay. So felt sick or threw up. Okay. Threw up is also vomiting. Okay. Felt sick. So when someone says, I had the food and I felt sick, so usually as second language speakers, when we say I felt sick or I felt sick, we usually mean I was not feeling well. No. Sometimes felt sick means, vomited or threw up. Okay. All right. Then in the bracket, can you have a look in the bracket? What is the word, Rohini?
May have overdosed.
May have overdosed. So again, possible, probable. So overdosed. They might have taken too much. Okay. They might have overdosed on. Okay. All right. Next one as well. You can read the 11th and 12th. Yeah.
Yeah, that's quite effective.
Something that was
Some of the
effective.
therapy, medication.
Yeah, again, treatment. Another form of treatment that was effective. So, any other way to say effective, Rohini? Any other way to say effective? Look at, we told that earlier when it was not effective, we said not helpful, didn't help, wasn't effective. So, when it comes to effective, something becoming effective, what other way we can convey that something was effective?
Quite helpful.
Quite helpful. What else? Gave good results. Helpful. Good results. Anything else? Any other way? Rohini, I'm not able to hear what you're saying. Your voice is kind of breaking up. Helpful, good results. Anything else? Useful. Okay. Anything else? Worked well. It worked well. It was good. It worked out well, or it worked well. See, when you speak, you don't say it was effective. We might say it worked well. It helped me a lot. It gave good results. It was extremely useful. All these are different ways to say something was quite effective. Okay. All right. Rohini, last one.
Allopurinol. Yeah, allopurinol caused dash.
Again, side effect, right? Caused, it is not a good thing. Of course, it's a bad thing. So it can be a side effect or an after effect or allergy, as you guys told earlier. Okay, or problem for that matter. Okay, so look here, we are going to have a look at. So see, I have thoroughly analyzed what I'm going to listen to. Okay, you don't need to write this stuff down on the side. You can just, process these information in your mind. So we know the patient mentions their name. Then they moves on to gout. Then they talk about their first episode, which happened during their vacation. Then they talk about 2 symptoms with swelling. Then they talk about what did they think it was at first. Then they move on to what else they thought, and something happened with the medication. Then they describe their pain. Then they talk about their inability. Then they talk about what the clinic thought about their condition. Then they talk about pain, feeling pain after some event. Then they talk about their previous treatment, which certain treatments were effective, certain treatments did not help, and one of the treatment caused nausea. So they may have overdosed on it, and something that was effective, finally something that caused allopurinol, which caused what? So basically, they are in depth. They are talking about history, symptoms, problems, possible diagnosis, suspicions, then whatever medications they tried and the after effects and problems that the patient faced. Remember, when you listen, when somebody moves from one topic to the another, the doctor might ask questions. they might give a lot of unwanted information. So when they talk about something self-resolving and then they move on to treatment, the doctor might ask, okay, have you tried any treatment? Or they just keep talking about some random things before they come to the topic. So be very careful, pay close attention. So take a minute, go through this one, and before I start playing the audio, all of you. Seema, am I audible to you now? Seema, when you're talking to me, if you would like to communicate with me, make sure to unmute yourself so I can hear you. All of you go through the material. Even though we don't know what we're going to listen to, by doing a good prediction, we are familiar with the content even before we listen to it. So make sure to practice prediction. Make sure to thoroughly analyze your time, analyze whatever you are about to listen to. So Sankita, Rohini, Selmi, Shiny, Seema, can I play the audio now?
Yes.
Okay. So try to find out. So I believe you have pen and pencils, on papers, everything nearby. So shall I play the audio?
Yes.
Okay. All here you go. Okay, 1 second. Yeah. First, check whether you are able to hear it properly.
Occupational English test. Listening test.
Can you hear
This
it?
test has 3 parts.
Was it audible? Okay. All right. Here you go.
Occupational English test. Listening test. This test has 3 parts. In each part, you'll hear a number of different extracts. At the start of each extract, you'll hear this sound. You'll have time to read the questions before you hear each extract, and you'll hear each extract once only. Complete your answers as you listen. At the end of the test, you'll have 2 minutes to check your answers. Part A. In this part of the test, you'll hear 2 different extracts. In each extract, a health professional is talking to a patient. For questions 1 to 24, complete the notes with information you hear. Now, look at the notes for extract 1. Extract 1, questions 1 to 12. You hear a rheumatologist talking to a patient called Harry Davis, who suffers from gout and is attending for a medication review. For questions 1 to 12, complete the notes with a word or short phrase. You now have 30 seconds to look at the notes.
Now, Mr. Davis, I understand your GP has referred you to me so that we can review the medications you're taking for your gout.
That's right.
So, tell me a bit about this gout. When did it start?
Well, my first serious attack was last year. My wife and I were on holiday and I woke up one morning with a really bad pain in my left knee. Well, I never thought of gout because I always assumed that just happens somewhere like your big toe, and anyway, I'm only 40. I thought it was something only old people get. So anyway, it was all red and swollen, and I decided it must be an insect bite. But I couldn't think how that might have happened, without me feeling something at the time. Or my wife suggested it might be something to do with the pills I take for my cholesterol.
Unlikely, I think.
But anyway, the pain didn't get any better. In fact, quite the opposite. I started to get frightened because I thought it might be a sign of something really serious. It was excruciating. So my wife thought I needed to get some help. So she phoned the local clinic and told them about my symptoms. They told her to bring me in. It was a good thing she was there. I was in too much pain to drive. I mean, I could only just manage to walk from the house to the car. Anyway, when we got there, the doctor took a look and said he wanted to take a blood sample. He said it might be an emergency because it looked as if it could be septicemia. So then we got really frightened. But about an hour later, they came back and said no, it wasn't, thankfully. But they thought I had gout. So actually, at that stage, we were quite relieved.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And the doctor asked if I'd ever felt anything like it before. Well, actually, then I remembered that in the winter, I play quite a bit of rugby and sometimes I'd get some soreness in the same place the day after, but I just thought I'd sprained it or something, and it would go away after a couple of days. But this pain's much worse, and it comes even when I've been resting. I've had it quite a few times since my first attack.
Right. So, what have you been taking to deal with the pain?
Well, at first the doctor at the clinic suggested I took some anti-inflammatories, but I can't say they made much difference. So when I got the next attack, I was at home and I went to my GP. She suggested I took, I can't remember the name, Col something?
Colchicine?
That's the one. So that dealt with the pain better, but it gave me awful diarrhea.
Yeah.
I'd never take it again. And then I had a really bad attack. I think the doctor had got to the stage where, you know, she was already giving me really powerful medicines to no effect. So she gave me liquid morphine to take. It made me feel quite sick, actually. And I was a little bit away with the fairies, you know, walking around not quite knowing where I was.
Right. Did you try any other sort of treatment apart from the medications?
Yes, my GP said I could try using an ice pack, and that did make a bit of difference, but you can't have it on all the time. So anyway, after that, she said, let's try allopurinol, see how you get on with that. So I started taking that, but I didn't get on with it. It gave me a skin rash. So I rang her up, and she told me to stop taking it, that I'd better see a specialist. So here I am. Is there anything more you can do?
Well, I'm sure we can find something, maybe a combination.
Okay. All right. So tell me, were you guys able to find out at least 6 answers? Sankita, Rohini, Shiny, Selmi, Seema, would you guys like me to play the audio again? Unmute yourself and tell me.
No, ma'am.
Oh, so all of you got the answers. Okay. Rohini, Sankita, Shiny, Seema, what about you guys? Unmute yourself. You guys might be speaking, but you're on mute. Yeah. Shiny, what about you? You want me to play the audio again?
No, ma'am, it's okay.
Okay, all right. It's okay, I can play. It's okay, we have time. Not at all a problem. What about others? Okay, I'll play it once. I'll play from only the audio part. So you guys, if anybody has not found any answers, those who have found, make sure that your answers are correct. Okay, here we go. Before we discuss.
So anyway, it was all one morning.
Here we go.
Now, Mr. Davis,
One second.
I understand your GP has referred...
Yes, who was that? Yeah.
All questions are not clear, ma'am. Only can see from 4 questions.
Okay, no, it's okay, it's okay. I will zoom out. Okay, I was scrolling through based on the earlier audio. I will just play it correctly now. Don't worry. Here we go.
Okay, ma'am.
Now, Mr. Davis, I understand your GP has referred you to me so that we can review the medications you're taking for your gout.
That's right.
So, tell me a bit about this gout. When did it start?
Well, my first serious attack was last year. My wife and I were on holiday and I woke up one morning with a really bad pain in my left knee. Well, I never thought of gout because I always assume that just happens somewhere like your big toe, and anyway, I'm only 40. I thought it was something only old people get. So anyway, it was all red and swollen, and I decided it must be an insect bite. But I couldn't think how that might have happened, you know, without me feeling something at the time. Or my wife suggested it might be something to do with the pills I take for my cholesterol.
Unlikely, I think.
But anyway, the pain didn't get any better. In fact, quite the opposite. I started to get frightened because I thought it might be a sign of something really serious. It was excruciating. So my wife thought I needed to get some help. So she phoned the local clinic and told them about my symptoms. They told her to bring me in. It was a good thing she was there. I was in too much pain to drive. I mean, I could only just manage to walk from the house to the car. Anyway, when we got there, the doctor took a look and said he wanted to take a blood sample. He said it might be an emergency because it looked as if it could be septicemia. So then we got really frightened. But about an hour later, they came back and said no, it wasn't, thankfully. But they thought I had gout. So actually at that stage, we were quite relieved.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And the doctor asked if I'd ever felt anything like it before. Well, actually, then I remembered that in the winter, I play quite a bit of rugby and sometimes I'd get some soreness in the same place the day after, but I just thought I'd sprained it or something, and it would go away after a couple of days. But this pain's much worse, and it comes even when I've been resting. I've had it quite a few times since my first attack.
Right. So, what have you been taking to deal with the pain?
Well, at first the doctor at the clinic suggested I took some anti-inflammatories, but I can't say they made much difference. So when I got the next attack, I was at home, and I went to my GP. She suggested I took... I can't remember the name, Col something?
Colchicine?
That's the one. So that dealt with the pain better, but it gave me awful diarrhea.
Yeah.
I'd never take it again. And then I had a really bad attack. I think the doctor had got to the stage where, she was already giving me really powerful medicines to no effect. So she gave me liquid morphine to take. It made me feel quite sick, actually. And I was a little bit away with the fairies, walking around not quite knowing where I was.
Right. Did you try any other sort of treatment apart from the medications?
Yes. My GP said I could try using an ice pack, and that did make a bit of difference, but you can't have it on all the time. So anyway, after that, she said, let's try allopurinol, see how you get on with that. So I started taking that, but I didn't get on with it. It gave me a skin rash, so I rang her up and she told me to stop taking it, that I'd better see a specialist. So here I am. Is there anything more you can do?
Well, I'm sure we can find something, maybe a...
Okay, so shall we have a look at the answer? Okay, all right.
Yes.
Sangeeta, pain in his?
Yes, ma'am.
Pain in his? What is it?
Knee.
Left?
Left knee.
Correct. Left knee. Left knee. Correct. Okay, correct. Second one? Dash. Second, initially thought it was either. Shiny, you can tell me. Initially thought it was either
Insect bite.
insect bite. You can say simply insect bite or an insect bite.
An insect bite.
An insect. He did say an insect, but if you just write insect, so either an insect bite would be very really accurate as per the audio. But if you have just written insect bite as well, you will get marks. Okay. Third one. Seema, can you tell me the third one? Were you able to?
Madam, I can't get it.
Okay, that's all right. That's all right. That's all right. Possibly related to medication taken for which condition?
Cholesterol.
Cholesterol. Cholesterol. Like I'll play it. 1 second. Those who have missed, just listen to this. Here we go.
Got me feeling something at the time, or my wife suggested it might be something to do with the pills I take for my cholesterol.
See, my wife suggested it might be due to some pills I take for my cholesterol. So our answer is possibly related to medication taken for cholesterol. So our answer is cholesterol. Okay. And by chance, if you make a spelling error, it's okay. As long as the word that you have written is similar to the real word, you will get marks. Cholesterol. Okay. And fourth one, Rohini or Selmi, tell me, what did you get answer for the fourth one? How did he describe the pain? Excruciating. So please learn the spelling of this. This is a common word that they use in listening part A. I'll tell you the meaning in a second. Excruciating. Excruciating means extremely painful. Excruciating. Or they can also say agonizing. Agonizing. So excruciating and agonizing are very common vocab that they are common words that they use when they describe pain in the listening party. Look at the spelling. Okay, if your spelling is wrong, think whether what you have written sounds similar to the exact pronunciation. Imagine you wrote something like this. You wrote if some of my students often write things like that, excruciating. So the pronunciation is not correct. However, it is similar to, the spelling is not correct. However, it's similar to the pronunciation. Only then you will get marks. So don't worry too much about the pronunciation. Try to hear don't worry too much about the spelling. Try to hear the word and what you feel like as the pronunciation, write that down. But now you know the word, learn the spelling. Excruciating, very common. The word excruciating and agonizing are very common words to describe pain when it comes to OET listening. Okay, all right. Sangeeta, fifth one. Unable to?
Was unable to watch pain.
No. Let me play the audio.
Unable to
I can't attend.
Drive. He was able to. I managed to walk and enter the car, but he couldn't drive. So let's hear it. Let's hear it. All of you pay close attention. It's not walk. He's saying that he tried to go to his wife took him to the hospital. He was able to walk but couldn't drive. Let's see. Let's hear it.
Unlikely, I think.
But anyway, the pain didn't get any better. In fact, quite the opposite. I started to get frightened because I thought it might be a sign of something really serious. It was excruciating. So my wife thought I needed to get some help. So she phoned the local clinic and told them about my symptoms. They told her to bring me in. It was a good thing she was there. I was in too much pain to drive. I mean, I could only just manage to walk from the house to the car.
I was in too much pain to drive, but I managed to. So what did he do? What did he fail to do? To drive. I was in too much pain to drive. So answer is drive.
drive. Okay.
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 I was in too much pain to drive means I had so much pain that I couldn't drive. Okay. All right. But managed to walk. That means walking was not the problem. Driving was the problem. Okay. All right. The sixth one. Can you guys tell me sixth one? Shiny. Sixth one.
Septicemia.
Septicemia. Correct. Spelling. Don't worry about the spelling, but the correct one is septicemia. Okay. All right. Okay. Next one. Seventh one. Rohini, will you be able to unmute yourself and tell me the answer for seventh one? Okay. You're on mute, Rohini. You need to unmute yourself. Yes. Okay, that's okay. Seema, seventh one. What did you get? Seventh.
Spine, ma'am. Spine.
No. He was okay. Let's listen. Okay, the answer is rugby. Okay, rugby. That is you need to know the spelling again. Rugby. Learn the spelling of the games like rugby, soccer, skiing. These are common sports that often get mentioned in party. Okay, so let's listen. Okay.
Anyway, when we got there, the doctor took a look and said he wanted to take a blood sample. He said it might be an emergency because it looked as if it could be septicemia. So then we got really frightened. But about an hour later, they came back and said, no, it wasn't.
So he went to the clinic. They thought it was septicemia. Afterwards, it turned out it was not. It was gout. Now comes the answer. Wait for it.
Thankfully. But they
Also, when he say instead of pain, at first he says soreness. Then he says, so listen to it. Pay close attention.
thought I had gout. So actually at that stage, we were quite relieved.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And the doctor asked if I'd ever felt anything like it before. Well, actually, then I remembered that in the winter, I play quite a bit of rugby and sometimes I'd get some soreness in the same place the day after, but I'd just...
So the day after, so what did he do after? Not day, after an activity. What was the activity? Rugby. Playing rugby. After, so rugby is a sport. It's a very strenuous sport, so it's rugby. Okay, this is the spelling. After rugby, or you can say after playing rugby. Okay, after playing. So after is already given. You don't need to repeat that. Sorry. Playing rugby. So don't be like, okay, the word is after, so it will be a time reference. No. If before the gap, if you get the preposition after, you can expect the name after the admission, after the event, or you can expect an action like playing rugby. Rugby is a type of sports. So again, that comes me that tell. So therefore, connecting to that, in connection to that, let me tell you one thing. Learn the spelling of rugby, soccer, skiing, skating, ice skating. All these sports, okay, just outdoor sports. Learn, go through. You can just Google the list of outdoor sports and you will find such thing. Adventurous sports or outdoor sports. Just Google it. You will get a list of name of sports. Go through it. They might not be familiar. Rugby might not be common in many countries. So be careful. No, soccer. We play football. Many South Asian or Asian countries or Middle East, we play football. We might not play rugby, or soccer. May know about it. Okay, know the spelling. Okay, so and pronunciation. Okay, skiing, spelling of skiing, water skiing, ice skating. Okay, all rock climbing, all those things, spelling, learn it. Okay, just type in Google adventurous sports or outdoor sports. You will get a list. Okay, all right. Okay, now 8-1. 8-1. Okay, 1 second. Here, let me add a detail here. Instead of saying feeling similar, he said, what did he say? Doctor asked me if I had felt anything like this before. Anything like this before. So he did not say similar. Instead, he said, the doctor asked me whether I felt anything like this before. So see, another way to say feeling similar. Anything like this. Okay, similarity, another way to say that. Okay. Shiny, 8-1. Dash not effective. What was it?
Anti-inflammatory.
Anti-inflammatory, correct. Anti-inflammatory. Spelling, make sure to learn the spelling of anti-inflammatory.
A-N-T-I.
You can look at the screen. M-A-T-O-R-Y, anti-inflammatory. Okay, also, 1 second. Ladies, 1 second. Instead of saying not effective, what did he say? He said, 1 second. I can't say it made any difference. I can't say it made any difference. So you can, if imagine you guys are talking to a patient and instead of saying, nurse, it was not effective, they might say, nurse, I can't say it made any difference. That means it did not make any difference. That means it was ineffective. So please make a note of all these things. Instead of saying not effective, the person said, I cannot say it made any difference. Okay, all right. Sankita, 9th one. Colchicine caused dash.
Diarrhea, ma'am.
Correct. 1 second. If he said diarrhea, if you have written diarrhea, that is correct. Or 1 second, this one. He also said awful diarrhea. Awful, really bad. Awful means, so his exact words were awful diarrhea. If you have written awful diarrhea or just diarrhea, both are correct. Okay? All right. 10th one. Rohini, am I audible to you now? Okay. All right. Shiny, 10th one. Can you tell me the 10th one? What was it? Morphine. No, was it just morphine? It was liquid morphine. It was liquid morphine.
Yes.
Yeah, 1 second. 1 second.
Morphine.
It was not just morphine, Rohini, it was liquid morphine. I'll play the audio. Let's listen. Let's
Just
listen.
thought I'd sprained it or something. The next attack, I was at home.
Yes, lady. Yes.
Morphine.
It was morphine, but not just morphine. It was liquid morphine.
Injection morphine.
Yeah, he said liquid. Okay, let's play. Let's settle it. 1 second.
And I went to my GP. She suggested I took, I can't remember the name, Col something?
Colchicine?
That's the one. So that dealt with the pain better, but it gave me awful diarrhea.
Yeah.
I'd never take it again. And then I had a really bad attack. I think the doctor had got to the stage where, she was already giving me really powerful medicines to no effect. So she gave me liquid morphine to take.
She gave me liquid morphine to take. It's very quick. You need to pay close attention. Not just morphine, liquid morphine. Okay, so answer is liquid morphine. Okay, all right, Sankita, 11th one. Dash was quite effective. Yeah.
Ice pack.
Ice pack, correct. Ice pack, correct. Okay, Seema, last one. Can you help me out with the last
Yes,
one?
ma'am. Skin rush.
Perfect.
Skin rash.
Correct. Skin rash. So that's what that is. Okay, skin rash. So today I would like you guys, I will send this audio to you guys. So what I want you guys to do is just, instead of quite effective, instead of saying quite effective, so today after the session, you can get the recorded video of the session. So when I would strongly recommend you to go through these things, instead of saying not effective, they said, I can't say it made any difference. And when instead of saying it was effective, they said it did make a difference. It did make a difference. So see, we usually say, as second language speakers, we say the tablet was good, it was effective. However, a native speaker says it did make a difference. That means it helped me a lot. It made something make a difference means it changed something, it helped. It did not, I cannot say it made a difference means no difference was made. So that means it was ineffective. Okay, so these were the words. One more thing. Did anybody catch, okay, Rohini, Shiny, Sankita, in the audio, did they say the word overdosed anywhere? Instead of overdose, what did they say? I'll play the audio once again. Let's listen.
Deal with the pain.
Well, at first the doctor at the clinic suggested I took some anti-inflammatories, but I can't say they made much difference. So when I got the next attack, that's the one. So that dealt with the pain better, but it gave me awful diarrhea.
Yeah.
I'd never take it again. And then I had a really bad attack. I think the doctor had got to the stage where, she was already giving me really powerful medicines to no effect. So she gave me liquid morphine to take. It made me feel quite sick, actually.
So instead of saying nausea, instead of saying vomiting, he says, it made me feel quite sick. Okay.
I was a little bit away with the fairies,
Did he say overdose? No. He said, I was away with the fairies. Fairies are magical creatures. So he's saying, I was away with the fairies. That means he was not in the world because he overdosed. So he was not conscious. He was away with the fairies. Okay, he was not, conscious enough or, stable. He was away with the fairies. Okay, all right.
Looking around, not quite knowing where I was.
Right.
So instead of saying overdose, he said, yeah, I was away with the fairies. Okay, so this is what part A is all about. Okay, all right. So what we are going to do, any questions about this one? Any questions about this one?
Ma'am, I have one question.
Yes, Rohini.
If we write only morphine, if
You will
we are
lose.
not writing liquid morphine, we are going to lose.
So Rohini, if you get a strict examiner, because part A is corrected by an examiner, if your examiner is really strict, they will cut the marks. Okay, imagine out of 24 questions, you got 23 correct or 24 correct. And they see that you have just written morphine. Of course, they will cut your marks. Okay, so it depends on your examiner. But I would say write what you hear. Write what earlier many of you wrote just diarrhea, but in the audio it said awful diarrhea. Write what you listen to. Okay, sometimes my students end up writing BP, but in the audio they said blood pressure. So write what you listen to. Okay, all right. Okay, so we have 15 more minutes for our session to end. Before that, now what I want you to do is, I will not do the prediction. You can take 1 minute time. I'm going to show you the second extract for today. So, Rohini, can you read the heading for the second extract? Can you read what I've highlighted?
You hear a doctor in an emergency department talking to a patient called Gail Kennedy.
Yeah, so here, emergency department, doctor is talking to Gail Kennedy. Okay, so all of you, take a second, analyze your headings. Analyze your head. Don't just read it, analyze your headings. You will be doing the audio on your own. You will be doing the prediction. I won't do much here. Seema, you joined halfway through. Go through the heading, all of you.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Yeah. Go through this one. So what is the structure of the conversation? Conversation starts with a patient's name 2 weeks ago. What happened 2 weeks ago? Then it moves on to after a lot of things happened 2 weeks ago. So 2 weeks ago, so remember the heading is a time period. So you will get signs, symptoms, problems, events, what went right, what went wrong, anything. It might not be focused only on illness. It can be anything, things that happened during 2 weeks. The patient fell down, or the patient went somewhere, patient traveled somewhere. So here, if our heading was medical history, it would have been only focused on health problems. However, here see, our heading is 2 weeks ago. So you will get a lot of events. So pay close attention. Then the next heading is following days. That means in the next few days. Then yesterday, okay, I want you guys to pay attention here. Observations. So tell me one thing. Observations. Do you think this will be told by the doctor or by the patient?
Doctor.
Patient.
No. Can the patient observe? The observations are always done by the medical professional. Doctor. So expect the doctor to talk a lot here. Then finally, you have extra information, additional information. So of course, that is given by the doctor, so patient. So observations are always done by the doctor. So remember, in this audio, I'll play it in 2 minutes. In this audio, the focus will be too much on the doctor rather than the emergency doctor rather than Gail Kennedy. Okay, so all of you take a second, take 1 minute, go through your gaps. The words before the gap, the words after the gap. Go through it, analyze it yourself. I'm not going to be involved. I want you guys to do the analysis yourself. 13th question, 14th question, go through everything. Words before the gap and after the gap. Make a mind map of what you're going to listen to. Remember what I told. Order might change when certain things come. Can you find, will there be adjectives? Will there be a change in the order? Once you're finished, tell me. Okay. So let me highlight a few things. Okay. Rohini, if I'm talking to you and I'm like, Rohini, do you like dragon fruit? Okay. So what will be your answer?
Pardon me, ma'am.
If I ask you, do you like dragon fruit? What will be your answer?
Yes.
Yes, or you can say no, right? So
Yes.
when did you give me the answer yes or no when I asked you a question? So remember, if somebody says no, they won't then. I will not just randomly. I will not come to you and tell Rohini, I don't like dragon fruit. I won't just say that, right? For me to say no, somebody should ask me a question. So see here, many places we have no, right? No evidence of, no reports, no. Okay, so remember, all these places, you need to pay attention to the doctor, not to the patient. I mean, of course, to the patient, but pay attention, close attention to the doctor. The doctor might ask, do you have this particular problem? No. No, I don't have that problem. So whenever in your listening part, please pay close attention. This is a very common scenario. In the question paper, they will give no dash. So remember, the patients themselves won't say, I don't have. For somebody to say no, someone should ask a question. So remember here, wherever you have an answer which is connected to a no, remember, pay close attention to the doctor. Of course, you will pay attention to the patient, but pay close attention to what the doctor is asking. You will get your answer from there. The doctor might ask, Mr. Kennedy, do you have loss of appetite? Or do you have pain? No, I don't. Mr. Kennedy, have you noticed swelling? No, I haven't. See, so that's how you can easily find out answers when your question has no in it. Seema, Sanketa, Shiny, Rohini. Did I convey myself here clearly here?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
This
ma'am.
is a very common situation. One more thing. See here, prior to holiday, vaccinations for both typhoid and something else. So another disease, right?
Yes.
So they have listed two things. This and this. Order might change. In the audio, the order might be different. I'm not saying for sure. There is here, as well as one more place there was and, right? What was that? Here, suspected not there. So vomiting hand, persistent vomiting and dash. So in the audio, they might say your answer first, then say and vomiting. For our question, they have given vomiting first. The order might change. Okay, these are two things I would like to add. No, whenever someone say, always remember for listening part A, in your question booklet, if there is a no, that means it was asked as a question by the medical professional. You need to pay close attention to what the medical professional say. You will be able to get the answer most of the time, 99% of the time. Okay, remaining sometimes exceptions, of course, we cannot say. Then remember one more thing: when something is listed using and, order might be different. But the order that's in the question might not be the same as the audio. So you need to pay close attention. Before you know it, they might finish the list. So it will be very quick. Okay, all right. So shall we start? Can I play the audio? Have you guys analyzed it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we have suspected, assumed. We have already discussed instead of assumed, instead of suspected. And remember, see, there is a time reference at the end. When in the question, the time reference is at the end. In the audio, it might be at the start of a sentence. The order might change. Okay, all right. So I'm Seema, Sankita, Shiny, Rohini, can I play the audio?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
Yes.
here you go.
But I didn't. She said, let's try.
Medications?
Yes, my GP said I could try using an ice pack, and that did make a bit of difference,
One
but you
second.
can't have it on all the time. Gave me a skin rash.
I'm sure.
For questions 13 to 24, complete the notes with a word or short phrase.
Okay. Your audio will start in seconds.
Mrs. Kennedy,
Yes.
I'm Dr. Jarvis.
Hello.
Sorry to keep you waiting.
Okay.
Now, can you tell me what's brought you here today?
Well, I got back from holiday 2 weeks ago, and I've been feeling awful ever since. It was a long-haul flight because we'd been to South America,
Oh.
and when I got back I felt awful. I thought it must be jet lag, but brutal. Much worse than I remember having before. Anyway, I thought I'd get over it, but it actually got worse. After a few days, I was getting bad chills and non-stop shivering and achy muscles. I just felt lousy. I mean, normally I'm pretty healthy. I don't get a lot of illnesses. So I started to worry. I thought maybe I got meningitis.
Right.
So I rang the doctor. When I told him where I'd been, he said I should come in and see him because it might be malaria. So I said, well, it can't be because I've been taking Malarone. I started on that 2 weeks before going away.
Uh-huh.
I tried Lariam
Yeah.
a few years ago, but it gave me really odd dreams, so I didn't want to take that again. Anyway, the doctor said some sorts of malaria are resistant to these drugs, and I know I did get a few bites when we were there. He gave me some pills to take for 3 days, just in case it was malaria.
Right. Can you tell me what they were?
Oh, art something?
Artesunate.
That's right. And something else. Hang on, I've got the box here. Mefloquine.
Okay.
So I went home and I took the pills, but I didn't feel any better. In fact, I got worse. I felt really weak and I was sweating buckets, just dripping with it. I finished the pills yesterday morning. Since then, I've been really bad. I haven't been able to keep anything down. I was throwing up all day yesterday and had the most splitting headache. I've never had anything like it. So I rang the doctor again and he said the blood test had come back negative. But if I wasn't feeling better today, I should come into the emergency department and get some more tests done.
Right. Well, I'll just do a brief examination.
Okay.
You want to pop over there? Okay, so your skin's a good colour. I can't see any sign of jaundice, and your breathing's sounding pretty good. You haven't had any episodes of breathlessness, have you?
No. But yesterday, my heart was really racing.
Yes, there is some evidence of that now.
And something else. All this week, I felt as if there was something scratchy in my eyes, like sand or something, and they feel really dry.
I see. And have you had any abdominal discomfort?
Well, there's no pain, but I don't have any appetite. I can't really keep anything down, like I said.
Right. Now, apart from taking the anti-malarials, did you have any vaccinations before you went away?
Yeah, I had all the injections. Typhoid and what else? Not yellow fever, because I'd already had that before. But I did have one for hepatitis A.
Yeah.
And they were fine. I don't usually have any problems with things like that. Then, while we were away, I did get cold sores all over my upper lip. I've had them before, and I'd got some over-the-counter stuff for them, so I just used that.
Right.
Apart from that, I was fine during the holiday. I'm normally very healthy.
Uh-huh.
I did have breast cancer a few years ago. That was in 2011. I had a lumpectomy, so I was taking tamoxifen for 5 years. But I don't have to take it now.
Okay. So,
Okay, so that's it with the audio. Seema, Shiny, Rohini, Sankita, were you guys able to get the answers?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you want me to play it once again?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes,
so
yes, ma'am.
I'll quickly play it for once again. Okay, I'll play it once again. Pay close attention. Yeah. Yeah, who is that? Hello? Somebody said something, right? Who was that?
Rohini, ma'am, my network.
It's okay, Rohini. It's okay. That's completely okay. I think yeah, net is an issue. You can get the recording from the person who sent you the invite. Okay, these sessions are recorded. You will be given a link. You can get access to it. Okay, you don't need to worry. Okay, here we go. I'm playing the audio once again for all of you.
There. Doctor,
One
few
second,
days.
one
It was a
second.
long-haul flight.
24. Complete the notes.
Here you. Yes. Yeah. 1 second, it will play.
Mrs. Kennedy,
Yes.
I'm Dr. Jarvis.
Hello.
Sorry to keep you waiting. Now, can you tell me what's brought you here today?
Well, I got back from holiday 2 weeks ago, and I've been feeling awful ever since. It was a long-haul flight because we'd been to South America, and when I got back I felt awful. I thought it must be jet lag, but brutal. Much worse than I remember having before. Anyway, I thought I'd get over it, but it actually got worse. After a few days, I was getting bad chills and non-stop shivering and achy muscles. I just felt lousy. I mean, normally I'm pretty healthy. I don't get a lot of illnesses. So I started to worry. I thought maybe I got meningitis. So I rang the doctor. When I told him where I'd been, he said I should come in and see him because it might be malaria. So I said, well, it can't be because I've been taking Malarone. I started on that 2 weeks before going away. I tried Lariam a few years ago, but it gave me really odd dreams, so I didn't want to take that again. Anyway, the doctor said some sorts of malaria are resistant to these drugs, and I know I did get a few bites when we were there. He gave me some pills to take for 3 days, just in case it was malaria.
Right. Can you tell me what they were?
Art something?
Artesunate.
That's right. And something else. Hang on, I've got the box here. Mefloquine.
Okay.
So I went home and I took the pills, but I didn't feel any better. In fact, I got worse. I felt really weak and I was sweating buckets, just dripping with it. I finished the pills yesterday morning. Since then, I've been really bad. I haven't been able to keep anything down. I was throwing up all day yesterday and had the most splitting headache. I've never had anything like it. So I rang the doctor again and he said the blood test had come back negative. But if I wasn't feeling better today, I should come into the emergency department and get some more tests done.
Right. Well, I'll just do a brief examination.
Okay.
You want to pop over there? Okay, so your skin's a good colour. I can't see any sign of jaundice, and your breathing's sounding pretty good. You haven't had any episodes of breathlessness, have you?
No. But yesterday, my heart was really racing.
Yes, there is some evidence of that now.
And something else. All this week, I felt as if there was something scratchy in my eyes, like sand or something, and they feel really dry.
I see. And have you had any abdominal discomfort?
Well, there's no pain, but I don't have any appetite. I can't really keep anything down, like I said.
Right. Now, apart from taking the anti-malarials, did you have any vaccinations before you went away?
Yeah, I had all the injections. Typhoid and what else? Not yellow fever, because I'd already had that before. But I did have one for hepatitis A.
Yeah.
And they were fine. I don't usually have any problems with things like that. Then, while we were away, I did get cold sores all over my upper lip. I've had them before, and I'd got some over-the-counter stuff for them, so I just used that.
Right.
Apart from that, I was fine during the holiday. I'm normally very healthy. I did have breast cancer a few years ago. That was in 2011. I had a lumpectomy, so I was taking tamoxifen for 5 years. But I don't have to take it now.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll be discussing the answer quickly. Okay. At first, assume she had extreme. What was the answer for first one? Seema, did you get it? Extreme?
Anxiety.
No, jet lag. Jet lag. Okay. Those who don't know, jet lag is something that happens when you travel extensively in aeroplanes for a lot of time. So because of the difference in time zones and because of the hectic journey, the tiredness and the lack of sleep, everything that gives you that effect, that's called jet lag. Okay. And instead of extreme, she says the word brutal. Brutal jet lag. Okay. At first she was anxious and stuff, but we need to find out what she assumed. So she says, I thought it must be. I thought it must be. Instead of assume, she doesn't say possibly, likely, anything. She says, I thought it must be. I'll send you the audio. I want you to go through it. I thought it must be jet lag, brutal jet lag. It must be. Okay. 14. Suspected. What did she suspect? Sangeeta, Rohini, what did she suspect?
Meningitis.
Meningitis, correct. Meningitis, G-I-T-I. This is the spelling. Meningitis, okay? All right. 15. Shiny, what was the answer for 15? What did she start before 2 days, before the holidays?
Anti-malaria.
What was the name for it? She says the name. Malaron.
Like
Malaron. This is the word. Malaron. Okay? All right. Now, what happened heavily? Sangeeta, dash heavily. She says buckets. Sweating. Sweating. Instead of heavily, she says, I was sweating buckets. Buckets. This is the word bucket. The bucket. Like, you know, this one. Buckets means a lot. Instead of saying heavily, she says, I was sweating buckets. Okay, so we learned a lot of different words today, a lot of words that are not spoken by a non-native. Instead, a native speaker says this, instead of saying heavily, buckets. I was sweating buckets. Okay, all right. Yeah, then Sangeeta, persistent vomiting and?
Headache.
Was it headache?
Headache.
Okay.
Splitting headache.
No, bad headache. Oh, splitting is correct. Yes, you guys are correct. Sorry. Yes, splitting. Yes, it was splitting headache. I'm just writing. Yeah, HA here. Splitting headache. Yes. 1 second. Instead of vomiting, what did she say? She did not say the word vomiting.
Throw out.
Okay, throwing up. Throwing up. Threw up. Threw up. Not throwing out, threw up, threw up. But I think here she said, I couldn't keep anything down. Couldn't keep anything. When someone is unable to keep anything down, that means they are throwing up. So, couldn't keep. She said, I think earlier in the other audio, the person said threw up. Here she said, I couldn't keep anything down and I had a splitting headache. Couldn't keep anything down. So I couldn't keep anything inside, everything, you know, that happened. That's one. 18th one. See, it was a question, right? Have you had, what was it? No evidence of jaundice. 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 It was jaundice. Okay. All right. How did she describe her heart, Seema? How did she describe her heart? Really what?
Very funny.
No, I felt funny. My heart was really racing. She said funny, but what did she say about the heart? Really racing. It was beating really quick. Okay? Really racing.
Yeah.
Okay. Dryness in her? Shiny dryness in her? Eyes. Okay. That was, yeah. Reports no dash.
abdominal.
Correct. Abdominal. He says abdominal discomfort. She says, I have no pain. So you can say in the question, it was again asked by, it was a no. So it was a question. Have you had any abdominal discomfort? So she says, no, I have not had any pain. So you can say abdominal discomfort or you can combine and say abdominal pain. Both are correct. In the question, the doctor says, have you had any abdominal discomfort? So she answers, no, I have not had any pain. Okay, all right. Now 22. What vaccine did she take for typhoid and?
Hepatitis A.
So there was a trick there. She said, I had vaccine for typhoid. No, Rohini, no. Let me clarify. She said, I had taken vaccine for typhoid, but not for yellow fever because I took it earlier, and for hepatitis A. Yellow fever, she's like, no, it is to distract you. Yellow fever, no, she took it for hepatitis A. Okay, so Rohini, I wanted to play the audio again and listen to it. See here.
No, but yesterday I never had anything like
Right now.
and something else. All this week I felt as if there was something scratchy in my arm.
Any vaccinations before you went away?
Yeah, I had all the injections, typhoid and what else? Not yellow fever because I
Not yellow fever. I had typhoid, not yellow fever. I had the vaccination for typhoid, not for yellow fever.
already had that before. But I did have one for hepatitis A.
So I had typhoid, not for yellow fever because I had it before. I had for hepatitis A. Okay, all right. Then what is the answer for 23? Had dash during holiday.
Breast.
No, that was in 2011. Before that, cold sores. Pronunciation is different to catch. Instead of saying cold sores, she says together cold sores. Cold sores. So this is the answer. Also, she doesn't say I medicated myself. She say I took over the counter. Instead of saying self-medicated, I took over the counter medication. I'll play that once again. Cold sores, always, every time many of the students do not get cold sores, it just doesn't click for you. So understand the pronunciation. They won't say cold sores, they will say cold sores. Okay, here you go.
There's some evidence of that now.
And something else. All this week, I felt as if there was something in the appetite. Typhoid and what else? Not yellow fever because I'd already had that before. But I did have one for hepatitis A.
Yeah.
And they were fine. I don't usually have any problems with things like that. Then while we were away, I did get cold sores all over my upper lip.
See, I did get cold sores all over me upper lip. Me means my upper lip. So cold sores.
I had them before and I'd got some over-the-counter stuff for them. So
I had this before, so I got some over-the-counter stuff for them. Over-the-counter stuff is medication. Okay, last one. What is the answer for 24? Seema, 24. Correct.
I can't get it.
Okay, that's okay. Lumpectomy. I'll play it. Okay, all of you pay attention. Here we go.
just used that.
Right.
Apart from that, I was fine during the holiday. I'm normally very healthy.
Uh-huh.
I did have breast cancer a few years ago. That was in 2011. I had a lumpectomy, so I was taking tamoxifen for 5 years.
Yeah.
So she says, Seema, she says
Lumpectomy.
breast cancer.
Yeah.
Then
Yes,
she
yes,
says
yes.
very quickly, I had a lumpectomy. So remember, we say, non-native speakers mistakenly, we say lumpectomy. It's not lumpectomy, it's lumpectomy. Lumpectomy. P is silent. So it's very difficult to catch for us. So it's lumpectomy. Lumpectomy. Very quickly. Okay? All right. So this is what today's session. So part A, listening, is all about doing prediction. Many of my students ask, so ma'am, today we took almost more than an hour to do prediction. So how can I do that in the exam? Yes, it's not possible. On the day of the exam, within 30 seconds, you won't be able to go through all the 12 questions. I agree. So first thing, practice. Practice prediction. Practice prediction. It will improve your grasping and understanding of the audio. So that will help you on the exam day. Then on the exam day, you can start going through your text during the introduction. They say, right, this is OET listening. You have 3 parts, blah, blah, blah. During that part, start reading your questions. Okay, so when they play the audio, you will get some extra time until they play the audio. Then please practice prediction. It not only helps, especially if you are a person who have never taken OET, before practice prediction, it will help you with understanding. It will help you with help you to quickly understand what will come after the gap. And it will improve your reading. Okay, as soon as you see, okay, after you, okay, it will be a verb. After 2, okay, too dry, or 2, it will be an action. Also, instead of saying unable to, they might say inability or assumed thought. Instead of saying vomiting, they might say threw up, cannot keep it down. So today's session, I would definitely like you guys to go through the session because I want you to go through especially the vocabulary. Today we learned a lot of phrases that comes as synonyms for some things that we use. And it's not common. It's not common for us to say, I'm going to throw up. We always say, I'm going to vomit. No. We don't say, I cannot keep it down. So I want you to go through the vocabulary that we have covered today and practice prediction. Prediction is nothing but during the 30 seconds, analyzing the headings. Always analyze the bold headings. It will give us an understanding of the conversation or how the conversation is structured. Then go through the gap, go through the words before the gap and after the gap. Okay, all right. Then today, so I'm about to wrap up the session. So today after the session, I'll send you few extra part A. So please practice with answers. I'll send you part A. I want you guys to practice what we did today exactly like that. You did yourself, right? The last one exactly like that. I want you to do prediction and try to do the try to work on it. Whatever audio we discussed today, with the answers, with the question booklet, I will send that as well. I will send 2 extra materials. Then, if you want the recording of today's session, contact Tani ma'am. Tani ma'am is the person who sent you the video.
No, ma'am.
No. Okay. So please practice. Today's is a difficult one. And remember the tips I told you. I have not typed the tips during the session. Here and there I've been mentioning it. Go through it, make a note of it, remember it. Okay?
Yes.
All right.
Yes,
So
yes.
tomorrow we will be doing reading part B. Make sure, if you have time, make sure to attend. Okay? Not reading part B, sorry. This week, listening.
Listening.
This week, our focus is on listening. Next week, we will do reading. Okay? So after next week, when we do listening, I expect you to remember the things that we discussed today. Okay? All right.
Yes, ma'am.
That's it. Okay. I'll collect the materials, extra notes, recording from Tani ma'am. Okay? All right. I'll see you guys in the next session.
Thank you, ma'am.
so much.
Precious.
Thank
Bye,
you.
ma'am. Thank you so
Bye-bye.
much. Bye.
Bye.